Hi there, it's Karen here. Welcome back. And today is the day for working in my idea box. Although, strictly speaking, this little project didn't come from my idea box. It was in my, I was having a look through my just ready-made pieces that I've done over time and never really done much with. I've got quite a lot of them. And I tend to make these things. I love watching other people making them, these kind of one sheet wonder type things with scrapbook paper. This isn't strictly speaking a one sheet wonder, but I was having a look at it and I remember how much I enjoyed making it, and I just think it's a really sweet little piece. It's not overly thick, although I haven't put any journal cards in it, so that probably would make it bigger. So I'll just show you how it looks. You need a bit more than one sheet. I'll go through in a minute what you would need to make this if you decide you want to make it along with me. So it opens up like that. This little piece, if I can remember how to undo it. Let's go around that way, yeah. So that pops up like that, like that. You've got a little notepad in here. So that closes up. So we go with that. So there's a little bit involved with making this, but I love making this sort of thing. And then you turn it over. You've got that on the back, little pocket on the back. There's a pocket on the side here and another side pocket here. You could do it in all sorts of different ways. Pockets wherever you like, really. This is just how I've done it on here. And obviously I've decorated it up to some extent with birds. But I just thought it was a really sweet little thing, and I really enjoy making these things. But I couldn't remember how to make it. So I've just spent the past, I don't know, hour and a bit maybe, probably about an hour, making myself a prototype that I haven't glued together so I can see how it's made, and then that will go in my idea box if I wanted to make one in the future. So instead of gluing everything, I've just paper clipped everything together so I can see what I've got to do. So goes like that, like that. So I've ended up with the same thing, just in just so that you can take it all apart and see how it's made if you need to. So I have no idea where I saw this made originally. It could easily be by Liz at the Paper Project. I know she does make lots of one sheet wonder type things, so do other people. No idea, it's been quite a while since I made it. So I'm just going to make one today and see what you think. So what you will need, and I've pulled in some of my Stamperia papers, this background selection. I really love these papers, which is why I've got 2 packs. In fact, this pack is almost empty because I've used it all, almost all. And I got another one, so I thought I'd use some of that. You need paper that's non-directional, preferably double-sided as well. Well, it needs to be really, it needs to be double-sided and non-directional, which does limit things a little bit. I wanted to use my new Stamperia paper pad, the Brocante one that I got for Christmas, but that's definitely not non-directional. It's very directional and it just wouldn't work. So these background selection ones are really good because they are non-directional, generally speaking, and also they're not too thick, because I think doing anything like this, you don't want scrapbook paper that's super thick. So you need one full sheet of 12 by 12, plus a coordinating, maybe half a page, a coordinating scrap that's not too small, or another piece that's coordinating, full size, but you don't need the whole of the second sheet. So you need those. You're going to need a pokey tool. You're going to need a scoreboard. Well, scoreboard's helpful anyway, so I've just got my little score tool here. Possibly a bit of washi tape, some twine. I've got some eyelets and brads. I've got kind of choice of 2 or 3 different colours. I don't know quite what's going to work for best. So I've got more than I need, just so I can give myself some choices. You may want your corner rounder. I'm probably going to ink. And I'm going to use both my circle punches. So this one I like to use for punching thumb notches, which is, I think, probably 1.5 inches. And I've also got my 1-inch one for doing the circles. So I think that's pretty much everything apart from glue. Oh, and some scraps of paper to make your little pad. So you need that as well. So let's see how we go with this. So I haven't well, I have kind of decided which ones I want, but I've got a choice of two. Well, there are several I really like. So I think I don't really want black and white. I'll go past those. I love this paper, and I think this is probably the one I'm going to use because it's got a lovely background as well. But I was also looking at this one, and it's got this on the back, but it's pretty plain. I quite like the fact that this one is it's quite patterned, so it's really pretty. I could use this one as my coordinating one, which would work really well. But at the same time, I don't really want to waste that because I love this page and I want to use it for something else and keep it whole. So I thought, well, I'll have a look at the papers I've got left, which is not very much in this previous pad. In fact, there is only this one. It's the only one I've got left, plus the front page. So I thought, well, actually, this red, as the extra cut, there is a bit of red in here, bits and pieces, and there's some red flowers and bits of red on this page. So I thought I'd use that as my extra piece. But you only need that. You don't need a lot of that, but I'm going to use it in a few places. So let's get that out of the way. It was lovely coming in here this morning because I spent quite a lot of yesterday afternoon, in fact most of yesterday afternoon, clearing it up, getting all my Christmas stuff put away. I know it's nearly the end of January. When you see this, it will be the end of January. And I still hadn't put Christmas away. But last week, all of last week pretty much, I had a very bad back. And it still hasn't completely gone, so I had to keep resting yesterday. And of course, the week before that, I was on holiday. So I just hadn't got around to putting all my Christmas stuff away. And I was very reluctant. I love my Christmas stuff. I like it just sitting there. But it was covering the table that I use for spreading myself onto when I'm doing projects. So it was really getting in my way, and there was a pile of stuff behind me. It was just building up. So I've had a good old clear out, and I'm feeling much happier because I do like my room to feel a bit tidy. It doesn't stay that way very long, but I like it to start that way. Okay, let's get started on this. So I need this piece, and the first thing I need to do is to score it. Okay, so I've got the scoreboard. So it's going to be like, I'm trying to figure out how best to score it. That's going to go that way. That's going to go... I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to score it. I'm going to score this piece on this side because I want it to fold that way. Yeah, I'm probably doing this wrong. I need to fold both ways, but anyway, I'm going to score the first one at 4 inches. So one's going to fold one way, one's going to fold the other way. So I'm hoping this is the right. Actually, I probably should have done it the other way. Doesn't really matter. Okay, I'm just going to score it on the front and be done with it because I'm just confusing myself now. Score at 4 inches and at 8 inches, which is where I did it before, at 4. 8 inches. And then you turn it once, so 90 degrees, and then you score at 3 inches and at 9. Yeah. And that's the scoring. So I'm just going to fold. So I'll go back to where I was. Where was I? That's right. So I'm going to fold this one in this way. This is going to be the front. And then this one I fold this way. way. And then we fold this piece up, bottom up at 3 inches. And the top piece, the top 3 inches down. Right, so now you need, make sure I've got it down the right way, up, I think that's at the bottom, isn't it? Handy having this, it tells me where the bottom is. So that comes in like that, that's right. So I need to cut these corners, cut the corners off. That's right, isn't it? Let me just check my prototype. Yeah. Yep, cut the corners. Scary this. Thinking, am I cutting the right pieces? So, yes, just cut these 4 corners out. And I would just cut inside the fold line, because where this folds up, you don't want them to catch. So each time I'm cutting just inside the fold line. So pieces don't catch on each other when they fold in. You can always trim it off a little bit more if they're not quite right. Right, so we've got these pieces, which could use for pockets, so that might still be something we can do. Haven't quite decided yet, so I think that's the right way up, isn't it? Yep. So then we have these 2 pieces here, going to fold down, isn't that pretty? And that's going to come in there like that, and then that's going to come in there like that. So we have those. Although for some reason that's sticking out a little bit. Both sides. Obviously my scoring wasn't very accurate. I could just trim that a little bit, couldn't I? Don't want it sticking out. So I'm going to just trim it. These things never quite work out when you do them on camera, do they? Worked perfectly before when I was doing my prototype. But never mind. A little bit of trimming never hurt anybody. Rather it looked. Rather it was as it's supposed to be. So I guess I'll have to trim off the same amount on the other side. Yeah, about 1/8 of an inch, I reckon. Let's do that as well. It's a shame really to lose some of the pretty paper on the other side, on this side. I might find a way to get around that, I'm not sure yet. Alright, so that goes like that. Whoops. They go in, and that comes in like that. Alright. Now we want to make a pocket here. So on my original one and on my prototype, I have got the extra paper covering the inside piece. So in fact it would have been on top of here. No, be on. Yeah, I think I had it. Did I have it on here? Yes, I put it on here. So that's what I'm going to do on this one, because I really like that side. I want to keep that. So I'm going to cover this up. So I think, so I'm going to use my red and just mark it. Mark it there. And try and make it straight as I can. There. Yep. Right, so let's cut this piece down. So I think, shall I put it that way? And that's quite good because then there's this red here. It's not perfect, but I think it'll be okay. Yep. So I'm going to do the thumb notch on this one. Where's my... there it is. Going to do the thumb notch. There. Unfortunately, this is black on the other side, which is a bit of a shame that that shows through as black. But I suppose it'd be alright. It's better than white, isn't it, really? That way. And that folds back. I think I'd like to ink around this bit because there's going to be bits showing a little bit. I want to disguise the fact that I haven't quite cut it perfectly. Right, so I've got to keep myself orientated. Okay, I'm going to glue this now on these three sides. Glue, glue, glue. And go right up to the edge. And I've got it oozing out everywhere, so I just have to give it a wipe. Whoop, slip, 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 slip. At least it gives me a bit of wiggle room, I guess, having this oozy glue. Actually, that's not too bad. See, on my original one, I really confused myself. I must have used two pieces of the same paper because I couldn't figure out how I could... So this one has the same on the back and the same there. And it's like, well, how did I get all of that and on the back? And I don't know. And I have a pocket as well. It just wasn't possible with one sheet of paper. So I could only figure out I must have used the second piece. The same. Deliberately to confuse myself, I think. Okay, so now we have that pocket. Now we want a pocket on the... Now is that going to... looks like it should be okay. I think what I want to do is round these corners on here, which I didn't do on the original one, because I think they will sit better if I do that. I'll do this one, I think. I'm going to round all the corners. Right, so we got those. So that goes like that, that goes like that. Yeah, I don't know why I was worrying about folding this in, because it doesn't fold in, does it? It folds back. That's it. I've got that. So, the next thing we want to do is the pockets. Let's just put that there. Now I have got some scraps, but I don't know if they'll work. That one. No, I'm not sure. I think I need to keep it consistent. So I've got this piece, so I think I might use that. In fact, this piece I think is probably going to do for both of the side tucks. So I've cut that at 2 inches. There we are, I've got 2 side tucks. So one will go like that, and one will go like that. That's a bit tall. Right, so they need to be just trimmed down a little bit. They are the same, yep. They're not quite the same width, but I think we'll make them work for us. So this one needs punching on this side. So it's going to go that way, and this one's going to need punching on this side. It's going to go that way. So I will just ink around those edges, and this one will need corners rounded, so it's going to go there. So I'm going to ink that up. Right, so I'm going to put that one on here. Clearly my thumb notch it was a little lower than it should be, but never mind. The glue. In there. Okay. Right, so we got that one, and then we need that one on here. And this one doesn't have to be rounded because this is a folded corner. So I will just ink that. If I can see my dot, there it is. Okay, right, so now we need some pockets. So we don't need them there, we need a pocket on here. And we've got our pieces that we cut off. Where did I do with those? So we've got these pieces. See if any of them would look good. Because you've got the choice of which side to use, haven't we? Like that. That's a little bit big for me. That one. I think I'm going to trim it down a bit. And these were cut, so they don't look quite right anyway because they've got the score line. So I'm just going to trim those bits off where they were scored. Put that one there. Still, oh, it's still a bit wide. And still a little bit deep, just a little bit too deep for me. I think that's better. Yep. So we'll do our thumb notch. Try and get it a bit more in the middle this time. And we need to do the corner on this, just on this one corner. And we pop that one there. Okay. Ooh, didn't ink. Need to ink the top. glue on me. Glue on my ink dauber. Getting more glue on me now. But you get plenty of glue from that gun, so. Okay, nice little pocket there. Get rid of these bits. And where else do we want to pocket? Did we have another pocket? I'm sure we did. There. There. Got that. Maybe we didn't. Did we have another pocket there? If we didn't, we could. I know we'd had that one on the back, which is what we've just done. So we didn't have a pocket there because we have a pocket here, don't we? Well, we could still have a pocket. I wonder if that would make it too bulky, that's the trouble. I think we'll leave it for now, but because we've got these scraps, more pockets could be added. I think until you fill your pockets that you've got, you don't know how bulky it's going to make it. So what we have to work on now is our little piece here. So I've got to do my... I'm really glad I did a prototype because... Where did I put it? This piece here, where you've got to put your little circle with the brad through it, down here, I kind of opened it up and I thought, oh, it needs to be near the edge, so I put it here, put the hole here. See, there's a hole here. So I thought, good thing I tried it out before I actually did it on camera, because now I know I've got to figure out where the hole goes before I go punching it willy-nilly. So that was a good thing. So what I want to do, I'm going to have to punch circles, but I'm going to use the red paper. I don't know if I've got a scrap of that now, because I think I used it all, didn't I? Maybe, I wonder if there's a piece of this that would work. Would that work? I think the red would work better. So I'm going to just use that. I know it seems wasteful, but I want it to look how I want it to look, and that's what I've got to use. So 2 small circles, at least 2, because it needs to be reasonably thick. Glue them together, see if it's thick enough. Going to be thick enough, because I used cardstock before. I might do a third. Maybe I could do one of these scraps in between. I should have just done one, shouldn't I, and used the scrap. My least favourite scrap. Like Clute choosing least favourite children. These, oh, I can't cut into these. It's just, they're just too pretty. Do one more of these. Should make it thick enough. So I'm going to try not to glue right in the middle, because that's where the brad's going to go. I don't really need it to be glued, just need the around the sides to be glued. Because it oozes, I don't want it too near the edge. Right. Okay. Let that dry for a moment while we make our rotel. Oh, it's a shame I haven't got a nice little scrap of this, but I'm just going to have to lop a piece off to make my whale tail. So be it. I don't want to use something I've already made because it won't go. Now I've gone down the route of using this red as the coordinating paper. I think I should stick with it. Alright, just cut a piece like that, I think should be okay. Hope this is big enough. Never sure how big this piece should be, so I've got my whale tail punch here. I don't think it's big enough. I don't think I've made it big enough. No, I have not made it big enough, so I'll just I'll make it bigger. That will be big enough. Okay, now we can do it. Feed it in. Okay. Right, I can always make one of these tabs with this piece. That's probably what I had in mind, but I wanted to use my whale tail today. Okay, get that scrap out the way, get those out the way. So I've got my circle, got my whale tail. So that's going to go there, so I'm going to glue that on. Might just ink it a little bit. Just takes the white edge, same with these pieces. I'll give this whole thing a good ink after we finish. Don't need to do it all right now. Just any bits that are going to be covered up or awkward to get at. Alright. So put the glue both sides. So we need a bit sticking out so we can now is that central? Close enough. Need enough sticking out so I can punch a hole to attach the twine. Now our circle needs to go about there. So I'm just going to punch the hole, or I'm going to poke a hole because it doesn't need to be a very big hole. Close as I can to the centre, through the 3 layers. Now, I think I might mark with a pencil where I want my hole to go. It's about right there, isn't it? That's very scientific, isn't it? There it is. Make sure it's not going to be too near the bottom. No, that's fine. Okay. Glue books are handy for this kind of thing. So now I've just got to decide which colour brad I want on here. I brought in 2 or 3 different choices. So I've got a red, sort of like a dark red. See if I like that. I do actually quite like that, and I do have a very similar coloured eyelet. Let me just try bronze one. No, that's too big. I have a smaller one. Does that look? Which I quite like that as well. Try the red one again. That one. Yeah, I do think I like the red on there. So, just going to these things always challenge me trying to open them. Let's put that one back in my pot so I don't lose it. Yep, and now I need to put the eyelet in here. Bring in my good old big bite. Make it as central as I can. And then we put the eyelet in. A slightly red coloured eyelet. Oop. And sorry about the grunt. Always takes a bit of effort, but it does work. Alright, upside down. So now we have our closure. We just need to add, I've got this piece of twine. I was thinking about the string, but it looks a bit grubby, so I think I'll just use this baker's twine that I have. You can always trim it if it's a bit long. Just want to see how I did it on the first one. Up through the hole. And then down. Like that should just slide under there, like that, and then we just don't need to be as long as that, so I'll trim off a bit. So that's that. I like how this is looking with the red. I'm glad I chose the red. I think that just gives it that pop of colour. Which way round did I wind it? That way. Okay. So now we just need to make our little notepad. So I'll bring in my scraps of paper. Right, just put those to one side. I've got this piece which I thought I'd use on the front because it's really a beautiful piece of coffee dye that I did myself. Quite proud of this with a what do you call it? I never remember the word, stencil. That's the word. Just want to see how I did the first one. So actually the front piece can be a little. I'm going to start with the back piece, I think. I'll make this one the back piece. It's quite a nice sturdy piece. Needs to be narrower than the flap. Turn that over. It's a nice piece of fly paper, this. And then I will tear it about there. Just want to get rid of this scrappy bit at the side. Right, so there's that piece, and then the next piece. I'm going to do a piece of straw paper. I'll take these, take it away from the whatever you call it, ephemera holder, I guess you'd call it that. And I always like my little pads to be like a bit sort of waterfall, so that each piece is slightly shorter than the one behind it, so you can see them all. That's that one. Then we'll have a piece of lined paper. Maybe I'll do it a little bit shorter again. That piece. I think I'll do 5. Kind of quite a thin piece here. I might keep that number 16. Although it's not going to show once I've covered it up, once I've done the top anyway, is it? No, it's not. So I'm going to make that a little bit shorter than the lined one. And then, let's see, how are we doing? So, yep, got the layers. So I think I'll do it this way, so I waste less. Tear that down there. And take a little bit off. A little bit off the length. And then we have our little a little pad, which before, I think I'll do it again, I did actually sew across the top. So I think I'll just go and do that. I'll just go and sew across it, and then we'll cover it with a bit of washi tape to give it an attractive edge. You could easily staple it, but I'd use my tiny attacher, but it seems to be broken. I'm going to ask my husband to have a look at it, see if he can see what's wrong with it. It's got staples in it, but I can't get it to work. So I don't want big fat staples, which is the only stapler I've got. So I'm going to go and sew it, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've just sewn across the top of that. That looks okay. But I quite like to give it a finishing touch. So I think I'm going to put a piece of washi tape. I've got this quite old washi tape, but I really like... Is that going to work? I quite like it on there. It's more orange than red though, isn't it? Now I'm looking at it, I quite like it to coordinate with what I've got on there already. I've got this Tim Holtz tape. I don't know if that might be a bit too thick. Yeah, it's too thick. The only other red one I've got is this. Would that work? I don't know. Not sure I like it that much. Colour's better though, isn't it? Yeah, maybe I'll use that then. There's almost no sticky left on it. So I will have to put some glue on there. Okay, put a bit of glue on. Just the one that's nearly empty, this one. Okay. Trim this off the side before I think my sewing machine's having a moment. Some of the sewing is a bit weird. I think it's inventing its own stitches at the moment. Should have seen the last bit of sewing I did. Right. Okay. I think that looks all right there. Right, so now we're going to just glue this into our little ephemera piece. Ephemera holder. Okay, there we are. So our little scrappy notepad. Lots of little bits of writing space there. Close that up. Just wind a bit of twine around here. There we go. Then that goes right back, and that goes like that. Obviously this needs decorating. It's a bit lumpy in the middle, but you could put another eyelet here, although it would impact on this pocket, wouldn't it? Or you could stick something here and wrap it around to close it. It's quite thick there. How does it come across? Just trying to have a look at my original because it didn't seem as thick. Well, it is quite thick there, but you can't really tell because it's been decorated. So I think once you've decorated it up, so I don't think I've got time today. I haven't got time to decorate this. I'll have to do it in my own time, finish it off because it looks, but I really like it. I really like these little pieces. I love making this kind of thing, and I'm sure I'll be making some more if it's the sort of thing you like to see, because I have got a few of this kind of thing in my box. But I'd also like to make some things using just digital papers, because sometimes you don't want big things like this in your journal. So I've got a few things as well, pockets that different people have made over the years that I've followed and done a little prototype. So yeah, we'll be working in this box, or sometimes I'll just be pulling things out of my ready-made ephemera and see if I can figure out how I made it, and we'll do things like that. I quite enjoy doing this sort of thing. I hope you do too, and thank you for joining me. Bye for now.